I cried my eyes out yesterday. And what you must know about me is, first of all, I'm a Capricorn, and traditionally Capricorns can be known to be stoic, maybe even icy. I don't have tears very often in my life. I can get angry, I can get passionate, but in general, I'm very level-headed. It's totally a trauma response, right? There were not a lot of level-headed people around me growing up, so I learned how to keep my cool and be the responsible one that wasn't being too dramatic. So when I am overcome with emotion, if something makes me cry, it kind of takes me aback and I pause and I'm like, whoa, what is going on? So this happened to me yesterday, and I want to tell you the story, plus what it taught me about myself and what it taught me about the healing journey, because I think I can impart this upon you and you might learn a few things that you can implement into your toolbox as you're healing from trauma, big trauma, little trauma, abuse, really anything that's happened to you in your life that makes you dim your light, that makes you keep quiet. If you are someone who doesn't want to rock the boat, if you are someone that isn't really comfortable being seen, if you are someone that likes to keep the peace, but you're ready to step more into your authentic self and you are feeling like you want to take a stand for something, you want your voice to be heard, you want your opinion to be respected, this episode is for you. Healing from abuse and manifesting the life you deserve is a journey that I believe we should take together. Hi, my name is Erin Fugate, and this is Jasmine and Juniper, the podcast where we learn from empowered survivors and healing experts. As someone who has experienced childhood abuse, sexual abuse, and domestic violence, and overcome years of self-abuse, I am committed to sharing my trusted tools for empowerment and manifestation with you. Remember, no matter what stage you're at in your own healing, you can heal. And you are welcome here. Together, we will build community, learn from one another, and make a positive impact on the world. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, so if you're a listener of the podcast, you know that last week I interviewed Lauren Trantham, and we talked about her anti-human trafficking organization called Ride My Road. Definitely check out that episode if you haven't already. It is so good. We talk about her own personal experience being in an emotionally abusive marriage, not really knowing that she was in an abusive relationship, and what happened when her husband left her, the pain she went through, the healing process, and how she founded her own nonprofit organization where she fights human trafficking. I feel very passionate about this subject. In fact, I sit on the board of Ride My Road. My husband, the inspirational rapper, even wrote a song dedicated to survivors of human trafficking. And we raise money every year for this cause, and we love to bring awareness to it. So I was extremely excited to get the podcast episode out there, and I even created a street team on Facebook. I have over 65 people who joined my Facebook group, and they've been linking arms with me to spread the word about the podcast episode so we can educate people about the truth around human trafficking. So in addition to the street team, I have been posting it, of course, on my social media channels, on TikTok. I sent out an email, and I've been going into some Facebook groups that I am a member of. I'm an active member of the community, and I thought, hey, the people in this Facebook group probably want to listen to the episode, and they would be happy to join my street team and help me get the word out and spread this episode far and wide. So I posted it in a few different groups. And then I went about my day. I took the kids on an outing, did some errands. And when I came back for my little time block of checking in with social media, seeing how the podcast is doing, I had an alert. And the alert said, your post goes against our community guidelines. It's hate speech. And I'm like, hate speech? How could this possibly be considered hate speech? And at first, I wondered if the moderator took it down because not everybody wants to hear about human trafficking. It's kind of a hot topic. There's a lot of conspiracy theories wrapped up in it. It's very upsetting. So I thought maybe, wow, okay, the moderator of this group doesn't want me to post about this. So I reached out to someone who's a part of the group and I said, I made this post. This is what it's about. It got flagged. Do you have any idea what that's about? And they're like, oh no, nobody would do that on this moderation team. I think you got flagged by Meta. I think you had a keyword in there that for whatever reason, AI said that's hate speech. And when they said this to me, I had an overwhelming wave of emotion come over me. It made me so sad and it made me feel so helpless. It made me feel like my voice was being shut down and that all the good and hard work I was doing to try and move this project forward was just being obliterated. And I thought to myself, wow, Erin, you're having a pretty extreme emotional response to this because my mind, my logical mind understands. These social media sites like Facebook, the Metaverse, Instagram, they're private companies. What we post on there doesn't belong to us. They're trying to monitor misinformation. I know that human trafficking, especially child trafficking, is a buzzword. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories wrapped up around it. And so, yeah, the company itself has to set up systems where these things get flagged. My logical mind understood that. And I was watching myself be so emotional about this, thinking, what's the big deal, Erin? Like, just rewrite the post. Don't use the hot words. You got this. It's okay. But it was so upsetting to me that first I reached out to a friend who also works in human trafficking. And I told them what happened. And they said to me something that made me lose my shit. Okay. And I still don't even understand why, but they said, you know, Erin, those of us that work in human trafficking, we experience this sometimes and we just chalk it up to basically the dark side. Like we're trying to bring light to this very ugly issue. And there are evil forces at play that don't want to let us do that. And they're like, don't let it get you down. Don't worry about it. It happens. You're doing good. It's okay. And I went to send them a voice message back, thinking I would just say, thank you. Yeah, I resonate with that. That makes a lot of sense. And as I was giving the voice message back, I got so choked up. I was bawling that I just had to stop the recording. Now, like I said at the beginning of this episode, you have to understand that I am not a person who cries very easily. I'm the type of person who has to watch The Notebook once or twice a year so I can have a good emotional release. I'm not someone who just cries over things. So it really took me aback. Now, here is part of the lesson. When you are on a healing journey, when you are a survivor of abuse or childhood trauma, you need people in your life that get it. We are so used to being alone and isolated and having the people in our lives, the adults, the responsible people, our romantic partners. We're so used to having people around us that aren't capable, that can't sit with our emotion, that we go inward and we isolate. I love this thing that my friend Andrea of the Adult Child podcast says. She says that some of this dysfunction, this abuse dysfunction that we grow up with. It's trauma that happens in relationships. So in order to heal it, we have to be in safe relationships where we can talk about our feelings. This is why I've created my online community, because I know together we can heal faster with more resilience. We can lift each other up. We can mirror to each other. I want to be surrounded with other survivors that are on the healing journey, doing the work to uncover all this stuff so that they can show up and manifest the life that they deserve. So I used to be super isolated and I didn't have anyone to talk to. In fact, most people didn't even know that I was an abuse survivor. They thought I had it all together. They thought I was a wife, a mom, a successful business owner, and that nothing could shake me, that I had like it all figured out, the perfect life. And I've been unpacking all of this for the last few years and finding people that are also survivors, that are on a healing journey, so I can have allies. And this is what I did in this moment. I reached out to a friend of mine who is also a survivor, has been on a healing journey, is very public on social media, has causes that they fight against. And I told them what happened. And they reminded me, they reflected back to me that it's actually a sign of my healing. I'm doing all this unarmoring. I'm letting go of these old ways, overworking, over-functioning, pushing my emotions down, masking, not bringing my true self to the table, not taking a stance, not having a peace of mind to speak. And they said, your tears and your emotional response is proof that you're healing. And I took that in. It felt so good. It felt so good to see the proof that I'm de-armoring and that it's okay to have these emotions and it's okay to be sensitive and it's okay to speak my mind and take a stand, especially when I'm surrounded by people who are safe and they understand and they can hold me and they can reflect back to me and they give me the strength to keep going. So when I went back to Facebook, guess what? My post was approved. It got out there. I felt good again about sharing. And I just thought the lesson was so important that I wanted to come and talk to you about it this week. Because I know if you're listening to the podcast, then you're on a healing journey too. Whether you are an abuse survivor or something else happened in your life that made you dim your light. And I first want to invite you into this community to know that it's a safe space. My DMs are always open. You can come over to Instagram, Jasmine and Juniper Living, shoot me a message. I will reflect back to you your beauty, your strength. I will share my story with you so that you can have hope, and we will walk this healing journey together. I love you. I see you. The world needs you. And I know it can be scary to de-armor, to speak your truth, to let your light shine. But when you have a community of safe people that understand, then you are held up. And together we will rise and we will make a positive impact on this world while we manifest the life that we know we deserve.
This is going on right now, all over this great country of ours, all over this world too. The land of the free, home of the brave, where today we house about 60,000 slaves. If you don't believe me, you can Google the statistics, or better yet, check your local red light district. But keep your eyes open, it's easy to miss it, because even your daughter could get Craig's listed. Starve for approval, how does this get started? They look for daddy issues, those girls are easy targets. Others come from overseas or border countries, sold into servitude and torture for money, 100 billion or more worldwide. How does this industry have that kind of supply? I guess the money's too attractive and fantasy's too strong. Even cops get it on. Damn, where did we go wrong? But I can't understand how there's such a high demand. If you buy a child for sex, you are not a man. can't imagine what you've been through. Seen the worst of the worst and lived through. And the stories that you weave with the horrors that you've seen, I mean the world must seem real cruel. If there's one thing I know to be true, it's that the world definitely needs you. You can find good people and beauty with no equal, just maybe you can be you. I can't imagine what you've been through. Seen the worst of the worst and lived through. And the stories that you weave with the horrors that you've seen, I mean the world must seem real cruel. If there's one thing I know to be true, it's that the world definitely needs you. You can find good people and beauty with no equal, just maybe you can be you. How do we stop this? Is it more arrest? The more girls we lock up, the more they prospect the next. For every pimp we take down, another one rises. For every John we lock up, there's 50 more ready to buy this. Being born and raised in the internet porn generation has set us up to fail in real life situations. Can't get it up unless it's all savage. Blame it on a lack of passion and grab a Viagra. Now your partner's got her head buried in the mattress, crying for the shame, wishes she looked like an actress. No one taught you how to talk about your feelings, so the two of you never really find any healing. As the years grow colder, she seems less appealing, so you wander the streets empty, searching for meaning, until someone beautiful bumps into you like sorry and asks if you wanna buy a party. I can't imagine what you've been through. Seen the worst of the worst and lived through. And the stories that you weave with the horrors that you've seen, I mean the world must seem real cruel. If there's one thing I know to be true, it's that the world definitely needs you. You can find good people and beauty with no equal, just maybe you can be you. I can't imagine what you've been through. Seen the worst of the worst and lived through. And the stories that you weave with the horrors that you've seen, I mean the world must seem real cruel. If there's one thing I know to be true, it's that the world definitely needs you. You can find good people and beauty with no equal, just maybe you can be you.
Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to Jasmine and Juniper, the podcast that explores healing from abuse and manifesting the life you deserve. If you know someone that is struggling, share this episode with them and be their beacon of hope. Together, we can make big changes. Remember, you can always connect with me in our community at jasmineandjuniper.com/connect. That's Jasmine like the flower, A-N-D, Juniper like the tree.com/connect. I put resources there and ways that you can reach out for support. Please remember that you're not alone. We are on this healing journey together, and we're just taking it one step at a time.